In the streets of D.C., new laws take hold. Federal courts now hear what local police control. From Chicago to Baltimore, troops may deploy, while mayors push back, saying crime they can destroy. Trump's iron grip tightens on the Capitol ground, making federal cases from every arrest found. The city's changing fast under this new regime. Justice redefined in the American dream. The world keeps spinning, stories unfold from east to west, new tales are told. Power shifts and people fight, searching for what's wrong and right. In every headline, lives collide as history turns another tide. In Ukraine's east, the evacuation runs. Donetsk residents flee beneath the burning suns. Zelensky stands firm on Independence Day, while peace talks whisper what both sides might say. From Donetsk streets to diplomatic halls, the question remains as the winter calls. Can Vance broker peace between these warring lands, while volunteers carry hope in their trembling hands? The world keeps spinning, stories unfold from east to west, new tales are told. Power shifts and people fight, searching for what's wrong and right. In every headline, lives collide as history turns another tide. From Orlando's rainbow roads to Pakistan's solar gleam, every story matters in this global stream. Three sisters lost in Mediterranean waves, while Korea builds ships that America craves. In Orlando's streets they painted over pride, Pulse memorial colors that the city tried to hide. But community voices rose up through the night, repainting rainbows in the morning light. While Pakistan's solar boom brings bills too high, and typhoon warnings fill Vietnam's sky. From prison reforms in the UK's halls to Epstein files behind congressional walls, the world keeps spinning, stories unfold from east to west, new tales are told. Power shifts and people fight, searching for what's wrong and right. In every headline, lives collide as history turns another tide. Every dawn brings news that shapes our days, from local streets to global highways. The stories weave together, truth and strife, in the endless tapestry of human life.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to your daily news roundup. Today we're seeing some significant shifts in how law enforcement works in America, particularly in Washington, D.C., where President Trump has essentially federalized local policing. What used to be handled by D.C.'s local courts is now being pushed up to federal level, and we're talking about relatively minor offenses here. This represents a dramatic change in how justice is administered in the nation's capital. Meanwhile, Trump is also considering deploying National Guard troops to cities like Chicago, New York, and Baltimore to address crime. Local Democratic leaders are pushing back hard on this, insisting they have crime under control and don't need federal military intervention. It's a fascinating power struggle between federal and local authority that we haven't seen at this scale in recent memory. Overseas, the situation in Ukraine continues to evolve in complex ways. We have reporters on the ground in Donetsk, following volunteers who are conducting evacuations as drone attacks intensify. These are ordinary people risking their lives to help their neighbors escape the violence. Meanwhile, President Zelensky marked Ukraine's Independence Day with renewed vows to continue fighting, even as diplomatic channels remain active. Vice President Vance recently suggested that both Russia and Ukraine have made significant concessions in ongoing peace discussions, though Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov seemed to pour cold water on the idea of any imminent Putin-Zelensky meeting. The human cost of these conflicts continues to mount, not just in Ukraine but across the globe. In the Mediterranean, 3 sisters aged 9, 11, and 17 drowned when their migrant boat encountered trouble. Rescuers described the sheer horror when survivors realized what had happened to these children. It's a stark reminder of the ongoing refugee crisis and the desperate measures people take seeking safety and better lives. On a completely different note, we're seeing interesting developments in renewable energy policy. Pakistan's solar energy boom, which was initially encouraged by the government, is now creating unexpected problems. The rapid adoption of solar power is actually leading to higher electricity bills for the poor, as the cost structure of the power grid shifts. It's a perfect example of how well-intentioned policies can have unintended consequences. Here in the United States, we're dealing with some challenging social issues. In Orlando, Florida, city officials painted over a rainbow crosswalk that served as a memorial for Pulse nightclub shooting victims. The community responded immediately, with protesters repainting the memorial overnight. It's become a symbol of resistance against what many see as attempts to erase LGBTQ recognition and remembrance. The back and forth over this memorial reflects broader tensions about identity, memory, and public space in America today. Meanwhile, the ongoing investigation into Jeffrey Epstein has hit another snag. Democratic members of Congress are complaining that the Justice Department's response to their subpoena was essentially useless, containing mostly materials that were already public. This has raised questions about transparency and whether there's genuine cooperation in getting to the bottom of the Epstein case. Internationally, we're watching some fascinating diplomatic and economic developments. South Korea is promising to help make American shipbuilding great again through increased cooperation and investment. This comes as President Trump and South Korean leaders work to strengthen their partnership. It's part of a broader trend of countries trying to position themselves favorably with the new administration through economic partnerships and job creation promises. Natural disasters continue to threaten communities worldwide. More than 500,000 people in Vietnam have been ordered to evacuate as Typhoon Kajiki approaches after brushing past Hainan in China. These massive evacuation orders have become increasingly common as weather patterns intensify and governments get better at predicting and responding to natural disasters. The logistical challenge of moving so many people safely is enormous, but it's often the difference between life and death. Even in areas not typically associated with criminal justice reform, we're seeing interesting policy experiments. The United Kingdom is exploring alternatives to traditional prison sentences due to severe overcrowding. They're looking at community punishments and even considering bans from pubs and sports venues for certain offenders. It's a creative approach to a problem that many countries are grappling with: how to maintain public safety and accountability without overwhelming prison systems. These stories, from the corridors of power in Washington to the evacuation centers in Vietnam, from the streets of Orlando to the solar panels of Pakistan, all reflect the complex, interconnected world we live in. Each decision, each policy, each act of courage or resistance ripples outward, affecting lives in ways we're only beginning to understand. That's your news roundup for today. Stay informed, stay engaged, And remember that behind every headline are real people dealing with real consequences. Thanks for listening.